Hallo und willkommen. Ich bin Meister Lenze and you're watching Get, Germanized, a German's opinion on English stereotypes.
I am bored. What should I do?
Ich weiß.
Me and my friend Sergio went to visit our friend Hannah Montgomery. She's originally from London, and since Sergio has never been, there, we thought to ourselves, let's do it. Let's show him around. And that's what we did. We took a very touristic hop-on, hop-off bus tour. And today I'm going to show you a little bit of our trip and also talk about English stereotypes and my German opinion on them. Let's go.
Welcome to Dominic's channel. Don't subscribe, it's mean. Kidding.
Look who it is. It's Eve. How you doing?
I'm good.
Good, yeah. What do we have planned?
Food.
Food, lots of food. Sergio's hungry.
Yeah, I am.
Alright, so it seems we have to talk about food now. Well, English pub food. We had it several times and it's very convenient because pubs are everywhere and they have, yummy food. It's not necessarily the healthiest option. I mean, there definitely are healthy options, but easy and convenient fast food. I consider pub food, well, not a little, maybe it's fast food. I don't know. What do you think? But it's fast and it's food and it's good. Mostly it's pies, burgers, or English breakfast. At least that's what we saw. You can get anything really though. Fries, fish and chips. And fish and chips, let me tell you, is amazing in England. And I'm not gonna talk too much about Brighton now, but they have delicious fish and chips there as well. Hannah's friend Indy's here. Indy, say hello.
Hi, hallo.
Hallo, guten Tag.
Wie geht's?
Wie geht's?
Ach, sehr gut, ja.
Indy's gonna join us today on our little adventure through London. Hello, hello.
My heart feels alive with the sound of music.
We were just saying how we Germans don't know the sound of music.
Disgusting. Disgusting. It's a good film. It's great. It's great.
Lots of stereotypes in there.
Ole.
What? Oh, yes, of course. Let's talk about stereotypes, shall we? Stereotypes exist, of course, about English people just as they do about German people. And I've looked at a list and, my own experience, what people say about English people, and now trying to think about if it's true or not. First up, they drink a lot of tea. The Brits drink a whole lot of tea, actually. That is very true. If I remember correctly, it's black tea, right, with milk and sugar, and tastes good, but they drink a whole lot of it all the time. I mean, that is true at least for friends of mine. Not sure about all English people, of course. I can only speak from experience here. But everyone abroad knows that the British love tea. And yeah, there's no arguing that. They have tea there on the bus, like in cake and stuff like that. Very fancy. Pinkies up. Stereotype number 2 is a little bit weird. People, or some people in the world, think that all British people are friends with the Queen, apparently. I'm not sure, or with the royals in general, I suppose. I'm not sure where that comes from. I guess because they're so close to them, like in proximity. But it's of course false. I mean, there must be English people who tell other people, oh yeah, sure, got a Facebook friend from the royals, like Harry is on my Facebook list or something like that, or oh yeah, I know a person, or oh yeah, I've partied with Charles. Yeah, sure you have. But for most English people, I don't think this is necessarily true. Point number 3, that they never see sunshine, that the weather is always bad. Well, usually that is true. The weather is awful there, just like in Germany. But for the time that we've been there, it was great. Most of the time, at least, it was actually really nice. We were super lucky. But it is true. That is also why all the British people are so pale-skinned, or many of them at least. Same as the Germans. And if the sunshine hits, that is actually stereotype number 4. They cannot handle it. And, well, at least for my friend Hannah, she's a typical English gal. It is very true. She goes lobster red whenever she's out and about in the sun for too long. That's why she doesn't like it. On our trip to Brighton, she could only handle the sun for a couple of hours. I mean, that's enough for me as well, to be honest. But it gets dangerous at that point. So that is a true stereotype.
Gurkensalat.
Gurkensalat.
Very good, very good.
Gurkensalat.
You want to know what I mean?
Green salad.
No.
Greek salad.
No.
Granite. I don't know.
We're just a gherkin salad, basically.
Gherkin.
Oh, cucumber. The Gurkensalat.
Salad. I'm glad you're teaching me the important.
Yeah, I know, right?
Now I can go to Germany and get by so easy.
Stereotype number 5, the Brits watch a lot of TV. I haven't really experienced this personally. I mean, a lot of people watch a lot of TV. The Germans do, and any other nation does, probably, like the Americans and Japanese, and it's TV. People watch TV. These days, maybe more streaming platforms, but that's still considered kind of TV. So yeah, people do that, and not only in England. The next stereotype is that the English speak as a Porsche. I can't do it, obviously, but yeah, they all fancy pants, McGee with a monocle and a top hat. No, that's not true. I mean, they do sound quite posh if they want to, or they can. But I mean, if you've ever met a Geordie, you know it's not true. Stereotype number 7, they're all mad about football. Well, same as the Germans. Yes, they are. And for good reason, because England got a pretty good football team. I mean, arguably not as good as the German team, even though we just lost the World Cup. So I can't talk. Okay, let's not touch on this too much. But they love football, yes. Point number 8, they love a good drink. Oh yes, they do. Some of my English friends more than others, but yes, that is true. And also for Germans, we do love our drinks, and I think the English can hold up their own when it comes to that. Another very true stereotype is that they are super polite. They cannot be rude. Physically, I think it must be in their DNA. No, of course, I mean, they try to be polite most of the time. If someone was to be super rude to them, they probably will be super rude back. But most of the time, it is true. They are very polite. My friend Hannah even told me that I'm pretty rude sometimes. Maybe that's true. I'm not sure. Next up, the Brits are all emotionally stunted. That they can't really show emotion or say what they mean. Yeah, that actually goes along with the being polite theme. I think they would rather avoid confrontation. But that annoys me so much, to be honest. Since I have been in a relationship with an English girl before, it makes me mad thinking about that. Like, say what you want, say what you think. What's wrong with you? Why can't you do that? It's the most normal thing in the world, at least here in Germany it is. Of course, again, not for everyone, but for me and for many people I know it is. And just the English behavior of not saying what they want and mean and do, like, why? You can see I'm very passionate about this. But yeah, that is a true stereotype. Next up, the English are obsessed with the class system, meaning that they still have these strict boundaries of royalty, of just fancy pants people and normal people. And from what I've experienced, that is true. Since my friend Hannah actually overheard a conversation of an older English lady in Brighton talking to a friend, I think on the phone or in person, I'm not sure, I didn't really catch the conversation myself, but they were talking about the royal wedding and how it is possible that royalty marries common stock. That's how she phrased it, apparently. My friend Hannah was shocked, and I obviously was shocked as well to hear such a thing. That is just very weird to me, and so apparently that makes the stereotype a true one. Next up, there's also this really weird stereotype about the English only serving warm beer in pubs. Why would they? It's disgusting. Like, who drinks warm beer? That is so not true. All the beer that I've been served in England was cold. Nice and cold. And delicious. Another stereotype that is very weird to me is that all British have very crooked and weird teeth and generally a bad dental hygiene. And I can say that is not true. All the English people that I know have good or normal teeth, not perfect maybe, but not disgusting like they show it sometimes on TV. And last but not least, the English apologize a lot. And I can say that is very true, from what I have experienced at least. The English apologize over and over for everything, and even if it doesn't make sense, if it wasn't their fault, it's still like, oh, I'm sorry. You're not getting a donut, Eve.
I'm getting a donut.
The donut! Hello.
Hi.
Are you sharing one?
No, I'm full. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. So, in conclusion, I would say the Germans and the English are very similar in some cases, very different in others. For example, we both drink tea. But Germans are not as polite. Definitely not. I don't think, at least. I mean, we can be. Emphasis on can be. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Like the video if you enjoyed it. If you found this entertaining, I highly appreciate that. Support me on patreon.com/getgermanized if you want. Social media links can be found in the video description. Thanks to Hannah and Sergio and Eve and Indy and everyone else who made this trip really cool. Thanks to everyone we met that served us in restaurants and everything combined. It was an amazing trip. Sergio loved it. And I know, I am aware that we have only been to London on this trip. I mean, we've also been to Brighton. I might make a separate video about Brighton because I still have some material for that. But this video would have been too long if I included Brighton as well. So keep an eye on my channel. Subscribe if you haven't yet. And apart from that, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to get Germanized. Goodbye and auf Wiedersehen. Cheerio.